With Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny coming out soon, let's drop my review for Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. So this is easily known to be the worst and is the most polarizing in the entire franchise. This may be a hot take for some people. I actually think that Dial of Destiny may be worse, and I'm not gonna say why, but I heard something about it that absolutely made me furious about it, especially when it comes to Indiana Jones being one of my favorite movie characters. Now, I'm gonna say this, and this also could be a big hot take. I feel like this movie is actually pretty entertaining. I found that the chemistry between Shia LaBeouf and Harrison Ford is really good. Some people complain that Shia LaBeouf was a horrible addition to this. I get where you're coming from. He could be sometimes annoying, like let me say when Shia LaBeouf's character Mutt is talking to Indy and he's asking if he knows his mother named Mary, and he says that he knows a lot of Marys. He just loses his mind by saying, shut up, that's my mother you're talking about." I was like, what? I mean, that's not a big deal. All he says is that he knows a lot of Marys. I mean, I probably know a lot of Marys as well. Does that mean that if I ever tell him that, he's gonna have to tell me to shut up? Because that is not the best, but I feel like it's really good seeing Indy in this very new phase of life for him being older, which one of the bad things about this movie is I feel like they made him too invincible. Like, he's the most invincible in this entire movie, and he's way older. So one of the things I didn't like about this is, well, we all know this scene, the nuking the fridge scene, seeing him somehow survive a nuclear bomb by getting in a fridge. Then he travels miles in a fridge that's being thrown in the air by the nuclear missile. Let's assume that it actually did work and he actually survived it. Then when he hits the impact, that'll be really bad. Like, if you did that to an egg, ugh, that will be. It doesn't mean that it's like if you put an egg in just a jar and you shook it. It doesn't mean that the egg's gonna be okay. Same thing with Indy, especially since he was now older. He would have been killed for sure. But the fact that he survives was extraordinary and just downright. Just you have to like turn your brain off for this one. It's a no brainer, but actually no, it's not a no brainer. It's kind of hard to describe. I do think it's one of Shia LaBeouf's not as good movies because I've only seen 4 movies that he's been in: Transformers 1 through 3 and Indiana Jones. I prefer the third and first Transformers to this movie, even though Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is the highest Rotten Tomato one of those 4 that I've seen, because Transformers Revenge of the Fallen is a 20% on Rotten Tomatoes. Dark of the Moon, which is a great movie, has a 35%, even though it's really good. And Transformers has a 57%, so not very impressive for the franchise, especially when you think that the other 2 were even lower. The Age of Extinction had an 18%, then Last Night had 16%. So they were not received well at all, but we're talking about Indiana Jones here. So, the villain, alright. I guess you could say that she was mildly okay. I wouldn't say she was a great addition to it, but I will say she had some moments. But just the way that she was killed, I thought it was good to see another Indiana Jones villain get what they deserved in a really gruesome fashion for a PG-13 movie. Fun fact: the first 2 aren't even PG. I mean, they aren't even PG-13. That was because Temple of Doom was actually one of the movies that inspired the PG-13 rating, because it was a very dark movie, but they couldn't give it an R rating because it wasn't bad enough for an R rating, but it was very dark, so they had to. But that movie and Gremlins was what made PG-13. So Last Crusade and Kingdom of the Crystal Skull both have a PG-13 rating, but that's actually a pretty fun fact. So I would say this movie can be mildly entertaining. I would put it on. I would say it could be like just fan fiction. For me, some things that I find to be just really unnecessary was like that scene with Shia LaBeouf swinging on the monkeys. That's one of the things that people always talk about if they ever talk about Indiana Jones. The Oh yeah, the nuking the fridge scene. Oh yeah, the Shia LaBeouf monkey swing. And let's not forget the Mutt Williams twist. That I wasn't the biggest fan of, but I mean, there are some people that actually just hate this movie. I don't hate it. I prefer the other movies. I'll say that. I won't say I hate it. I find this movie watchable, but there are some people that actually absolutely hate this movie, demolish it. So even though this one is not the lowest one on Rotten Tomatoes, lowest from Rotten Tomatoes is Temple of Doom, and I know some people that have actually put Temple of Doom over Raiders of the Lost Ark. I've seen three types of Indiana Jones rankings. Those who have Temple of Doom in first place, those who have Last Crusade in first place, and of course, those who have Raiders of the Lost Ark in first place. I'm more of a fan. I'm more of a fan of the original trilogy. It was just a lot more practical. Meanwhile, this one was bloated with CGI. That you could tell, oh yeah, that was definitely CGI. I've seen previews of the fifth, and I've seen some stuff from the fifth. I could tell that is also bloated with CGI. So I am keeping myself ready for disappointment, but I hear there's some good stuff like in the opening scene, but if it comes to disappointment, I am just going to basically ignore that film if I have to. Well, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing my review for Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, even though a lot of people aren't a big fan of it. If you've seen it, why don't you talk about it in the comments below? Have a nice, friendly chat, but let's keep it friendly, and I will try and join in if I can. And thank you all for watching. Have a good one.